Hey, it's Mr. Johns. Let's take a look at Sketchup Online. This is our 3D design program, and we're going to walk you through some basic skills and teach you how to use this program to create amazing things in 3D. And this is the future. Absolutely. Just about everything created, designed, built, manufactured in the world today is first 3D modeled. So you can make adjustments and manipulate it and do what you need to do. See it before you build it, which is the cool thing. So here we are in SketchUp. This is what it looks like. We have a guy standing here. He is there only. He's actually 2D, which is funny, in a 3D program. He's just a flat 6 foot tall shape, right? He's just to kind of show us size, because without him I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and after I've done that for a while, I have no idea how big 6 feet tall is. It's very deceiving. The 3D environment is not really a ground and a sky. This is just there to help our eyes feel comfortable. 3D really is just space. In fact, these lines don't really exist. They're just there to help us, again, find ourselves and know where we are in space. These are called the axis lines. And so we have solid blue going up, dotted blue going down, solid red going east, dotted red going west, solid green going north, and dotted green going south. So I'm going to bring him back, and see there, I didn't know how big he was going to be, so I just pressed Control Z to undo. So don't forget, undo and redo are up here at the top of your screen, but you can also Control Z and Control Y for undo and redo. So here he is, he's back on our screen. So first, what I'd like to do is go over how to get around on the screen. That's the first thing. So if you wondered how I was moving around, you want a mouse for sure. Can you use this with a touchpad? Yes, but a mouse is one of the main tools in 3D design. My mouse wheel zooms in and zooms out. If I were to press down on the mouse wheel and move, that's called orbit. Orbit. It's not rotate, it's orbit. Just move around to see the backside, the side, the bottom, the top, etc. Okay. If I were to press the shift key and the mouse wheel, it's called pan, which is just side to side, and that is very useful if I'm just trying to slide this over so I can make something else or come back to it. Zoom in, zoom out, shift wheel, or just press wheel. So that's all with the mouse. And of course, the left mouse is select. Select. Okay. So there we go. So some of the things we're going to go over. This is my list here. Tech 7 skills. New file. How to pan, how to orbit, how to zoom, how to delete, the axis lines, origin, dimension lines, groups, locking on an axis, push-pull tool, precision measurement, the move tool, paint, switching from metric to US, using the 3D warehouse, and making a treehouse, as well as some other things. And so that's my list, my brainstorm list of things that you should know as a Tech 7 student. We will create other things, but our main project will be a 3D treehouse. So let's get started on that, and I'm going to bring this up again, move it over so I can take a look at it. So we've already talked about some of that already. New file up here up top. You see there's no title yet, so if you click on this, it'll ask you where you want to save it. Pay attention here. There's two places to save. One is to your Chromebook, and the other is online. I prefer to always save to this weird looking helmet looking icon. It's called the SketchUp server. Just double click it. That's online, which means if you're using a loaner computer from the library, for example, it doesn't matter. You'll still be able to access your SketchUp files. So here are some of the ones I've saved there, and I'm going to just, at the bottom of the screen, I can type in Tech 7 tutorial. You should just type in your name or something. Tutorial is fine, because that's what we're doing as a tutorial. Then click Save here. And so now, once it's saved, there we go. Now it's called whatever I called it, okay? And I can share it so that when you are done with something, you could click Share, and then you can create a link and send me the link. I may have you send a screenshot, however. So on your Chromebook, you'll do a screenshot and then email me, paste that into an email. That's a lot quicker sometimes, but I can't move around and see things the way maybe I want to. So if I need to look inside something you create, I may have you send me the link, because then I can actually go visit your file and see it. So, all right, and then these 3 lines to the left of the name of your file, this is kind of the word file. You know how a lot of programs have file open, file save. That's kind of what this is. And so you'll see you can open something, save it, share it, import, export, download, and print, etc. So we will use that especially to import something or download. So, and if you're curious how you 3D print things, some of you are curious. After you create something, you go here, and then to the download as an STL, I think it's stereolithography or something like that. That's the type of file that a 3D printer can read. So anything you make here, if it's done correctly, you can download it as an STL and then send it to a 3D printer, and it will print it. All right, so where all these lines come together, this is called the origin. So if I'm making something, I like to, one thing especially, or the first thing, I like to start at the origin. So if I'm making a rectangle or a square, I click on the rectangle tool and I just roll my mouse. I don't click yet. Roll my mouse, see how it turns into a dot? And it even says, hey, you're on the origin. Super useful. And SketchUp does a great job of helping us know where we are sometimes. Tells us when we're lined up, when we're even, parallel, etc. So I like to start on the origin, so I'm going to click, I click and let go, and then I drag out to the side, and then it doesn't really matter how big it is because I can tell it how big to be, but for now I'm just going to make it look like a square, and let's try to make it as big as the guy there. His name is Ty, the guy with the dinosaurs on his t-shirt and the ukulele. And so if you're creating along with me, and you should be, this is what you'll be turning in today. Here's what I want you to do. I'll do that again. Rectangle tool. I want you to click on the origin, let go, drag out to the side, make it look to be about the size of him as a square, and then click. Now when you click, it turns gray or white. Gray is underneath, white is on top. It looks grayish here, but it's actually white. So white is the top, and gray, kind of a bluish gray, is the inside. So outside, inside. That matters only when you're 3D printing, because if you mess it up and the 3D printer is trying to print the inside of something on the outside, it will not work. All right. Well, it wasn't quite a square, was it? Mine wasn't. I was at an angle like this. So one of the first things you'll discover in 3D design is it's very deceiving. So it's good that we have the fake ground and the fake sky and these axis lines, because it really helps, because it's hard enough as it is creating something in space. And I thought this was a square, but I was looking at an angle like this. But if I look at the top, it's definitely a rectangle, but that's okay. So, by the way, your assignment will be turning in a screenshot of not exactly, I should say, of the same shapes that I have on my screen as your screen. All right, so we'll be going through some of these tools, obviously. And so what I want to do now is go to the push-pull tool, And the push-pull tool to me looks like a pizza box with a red arrow going straight up. It's that one. That one. By the way, these can be moved around. If I click and drag, I can move these in any order I want. And there are more. If you click on the 3 dots on the bottom, please do that right now. 3 dots, click. It brings up all the tools. And so if I want one over here that I think I'm going to be using a lot, let's say the circle tool, I'm going to click and drag, and I can move it over here, and it'll take whatever was at the bottom and put it back. So I can only have so many here. So if I say grab the push-pull tool and mine is on the top and yours isn't, just go find it. This one right here. If you roll your mouse over it, by the way, so if, instead of saying, Mr. Johns, which one is it? I don't know which one it is. Roll your mouse over each tool and it tells you line, rectangle, push-pull, circle. Okay, you can do that. And if you can't find it on your list here, go to all tools and you'll find it over here. Okay, so we're going to use the push-pull tool. This is the magic 3D tool. I love it. If you roll your mouse over the top of your rectangle, you'll see all those little blue dots show up. That means it's selected. You don't have to click yet. It just means you're selecting that. Now I want you to hold down the left mouse button and roll your mouse up and then let go. Now, that's a 3D shape. We could 3D print that. Not too exciting, but it is a 3D shape. Notice that now the bottom is white because that's the outside. Everything on the outside is white. The inside would be bluish gray. So now I want you to use that same tool, push-pull, to make it as tall as this guy. So push down, up, and not perfect, but just about. We're not going to measure. I just want you to squish it around. So I'm going to grab this side and move it in because I think he's about maybe a little bit. It should be a square, so something like that. And then obviously it's way too deep. Bring that in. So I think that's about a 6 by 6 by 6 square. Pretty close. So your first challenge is make a square that is 6 by 6 by 6 just by guessing with the push-pull tool. All right. So now we can find out how big it really is. Let's see how good you were at just eyeballing it. So we're going to go to the dimension line tool, and you should be familiar with this. We use this in a lot of our drawings in tech class, and it looks like a dimension line. So it's the number 3 between 2 lines with, it should have arrows, but they do a little different here. But that's a dimension line. If you roll your mouse over it, it says dimension. So I'm going to click on it once, and I'm going to click on a corner, and then the opposite corner. I'm going to click when it turns into a dot. And then I'm going to drag it out to the side and click. I can choose where to place those. So now, right away I notice it's not in feet. It's 1923 meters. I want it to be whatever, how tall he is. Now I actually don't know if he's 6 feet tall. But I want to make it, let's just say he is. Okay, and I want to make it 6 by 6 by 6. So if yours is feet, awesome. You don't have to change anything, but I do want you to pay attention to where I go. On the right side of the screen, all these option tools, go to model info, length units. Okay, so that was model info. The top one is length units, and we can change it, the format, from millimeter to architectural, which is basically feet, right? So there are some other options, but architectural is feet. Display, while we're here, let's just go over this stuff. Display precision, it just means it's going to like go to the closest inch. If you want it to be more precise, you can go to the closest 1/32 of an inch, which is super precise. So keep this in mind. We might need to do that later. And then length snapping. Length snapping means when you move your mouse, it will snap for you. It'll like finish the line, and you can have it also. Right now, I guess an inch is the smallest that can be. So we'll keep it there. And I think that's really the only thing we need. You can turn on or off length snapping here. So if you're trying to do a line that's not perfectly straight or something different, length snapping will kind of get in your way. So that's when you turn it off. But I usually leave it on for most things. Okay, so now we're on architectural. Look what happened over here. 6'4". Okay, and maybe he is 6'4", but I want you to make it 6 feet exactly. So let's go ahead and squish this down from the top until that says 6 feet right there. Okay, now how do I know how wide it is? I have to go back to dimension tool and put a dimension on the bottom corners. So click, click, pull out. Yeah, 7 feet 1. I was definitely too wide. So I'm going to grab the right side or the left side and push in until it says 6 feet. Now remember, length snapping is on, so that's helping us here, as well as it's going to the closest inch. That's helping us here. So those decisions we just made are super helpful. Now the only other one we have, so we have height, we have width, and now we need depth. So we are going to do a dimension line from the front corner to the back corner and then pull that out. So I'm 6'8". So again, I'm going to push the back forward just because I want to keep it on the red line. Oh, and also notice I didn't do this on purpose, but when I accidentally move my mouse, look, it turned inside out. So that's an example of how if I sent that to the 3D printer, it would not know what to do because this is the inside. It would be so confused. So super important that we don't accidentally push through. Like, it's not true that any shape is okay. We want to make sure the outside is the outside. All right, so we're going to make this one 6 feet. 6 feet exactly. Bink, and click. All right, now I have a 6 by 6 by 6 square. All right, so that was challenge number 1. Nice job on that. All right, let's go back through another tool, use another tool. And by the way, you can search for tools here. I don't ever really need to do that because they're all here. You know, that's what that's for. This is just the select tool where you can select things. This is the eraser tool where you can erase things, and you have to be on the edge. I don't know if I can erase him with this. Yeah, I can. And then Control Z if you want to bring him back. This is the pencil tool. We're going to use that one next. So let's make a 3 by 3 by 3 square. 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot square. Using the pencil tool. Aha. Okay. So now we can't start on the origin, can we? So we can start anywhere. So just click. I mean, it starts on the ground, the fake ground on purpose here. And so let's just go up. Now, how do I know I'm going up? It's blue. See how it's blue right there? If it's black like this, I'm tilted. Now remember, 3D design is sometimes it's hard to see and hard to really know if you're going straight up sometimes just because of where you are or your view, your angle. So they make it blue on purpose just to help you. All right, so I'm going to make it about half as high as the square over there because it's 6 feet. I want 3 feet. So make sure you draw a blue line about half as high and click. Okay, now notice that it's still connected. What if I didn't want that? I could hit the escape key on your keyboard. But it was fine actually because we're going to keep drawing lines. So I'm going to go back and see what happens here. It shows me where I can. It thinks, hey, it's asking me, do you want to click on the top of this? Well, here, just click here, and it gives me the option to click on that green dot. Then from here, I can either go straight up, I can go solid red left, I can go solid red right, I can go blue down, blue up, green, which is that way, or green, this is this way. And if it's black, it means I'm not going in a what's called a cardinal direction, a compass direction, right? So, but what we want to do is let's go green. Let's go green. Now, wait a minute. I can't really tell if it's 3 feet. So let's rotate. I'm pushing the wheel down, mouse wheel. Now I can see the side, and I'm going to say, okay, well, looks about to be 3 feet. So click. And I'm not going to hit escape this time because I want to go down and it's blue. Make sure it's blue. And again, this is what I was telling you about SketchUp being smart. It is telling me, hey, you're even with your first line. See that? I haven't clicked or anything. It just says right here, hey, you're even. Do you want to stop here? It assumes that's a very common thing for people to do. So I do. I'm going to click, and now I'm going to connect back to the beginning. Boop. Now, if that did not turn solid for you, that means your lines were not straight. So it will only turn solid if it's a legit shape, a completed, enclosed shape. Okay, and see how white's on the outside? I don't know if that's gray. I'd say it's more gray. Gray's on the inside. Okay, so well, if that's the case, do we have to go this way? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see if we can make this the outside, because right now it's saying this is the outside. So I'm going to go to the right this time. I'm going to start in the back. Let's go. So I'm going to roll my mouse on the top back corner. I'm going to go over red, make sure it's red. And I'm going to go over about what I think is about 3 feet and click. Now I'm going to go down blue. No, not green. Blue. See that? See how that looks okay, but green is actually sticking out. See that? Look how weird that is. Depends on your view. So go by the color. I need to go blue to the bottom, and I want it to line up. In that case, it's lining up with the opposite corner, but let me just double check. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm going to click here, but I'm going to go over red and click here. So that turned white. Okay. It still thinks these are the outside. I'm going to experiment a little bit and see if I can make this the inside. All right, so next we're going to do the bottom. Let's do the bottom. Let's click either one of these corners is fine, but I'm going to bring it forward green or over red, your choice, and then stop when it's lined up and click. Now we're going to go over and click. So that makes 3 sides. So it kind of made a corner, right? Next, let's go. I mean, we have 3 choices from here, or from here. It doesn't matter. I don't care which one you choose. If you choose this one, it goes blue until it's even. And then you go green until it connects. If you make a mistake, like you click here by accident, hit Control Z. So it's here to there, and then it is here to here. Now, what's interesting is that's the inside of the shape. So it did not, I was actually experimenting, I wasn't sure. It did not switch it. So is that an issue? Yeah, if we were 3D printing, that would not work. So let me show you a trick. I'm going to go to the arrow key, the select tool. I'm going to click on a side and right click. So again, the mouse tool, right click, go to reverse face. So I'm clicking on a side, right click, reverse face, it changes it white. So what I did is I just flipped it. I just flipped it inside out. Now, do the same thing to all of those. I can actually press down the control key and highlight all of them at once, or you can do them one at a time. I just control click, control click, control click. And then if I right click on any of them and say, hey, reverse faces, boom. Okay, I just flipped it inside out. Sweet. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So I want you to use dimension lines, and I want you to measure width, height, and depth. So here's width. See how close I was to 3 feet. All right, 2.7. I was close. 2.10. Close. Oh, this one's deeper. I'm always deeper. And then 3 feet 1. All right. And then I'm going to have you squish it with the push-pull tool. And I want you to make it 3 by 3 by 3. 3 by 3 by 3. There we go. Nice. Okay. So we have a 6 foot squared block and a 3 foot squared block, and looking pretty good. Looking pretty solid. All right, next tool down is a circle tool. I want you to click the circle tool, and let's just keep building over in this direction, away from the guy, kind of opposite him, and somewhere that's not touching another shape, because you can put a hole or a circle on or in something. We're not going to do that yet. I just want you to click on the ground with a circle once, and then make it, I don't care, any size you choose, and click. Okay, so now the circle is on the ground. And of course, I want you to use the push-pull tool and make it about twice as tall as the guy. Okay, so it's about 12 feet tall, about. Okay, so we have a big square, small square, and a column, a cylinder. Very cool. So next tool down, this is the move tool, and the 4 red arrows means move. So if I wanted to move something like this guy, his name's Ty, on face in Ty, that's what it says. A face is a side. It's a fancy word for side. So all these shapes have faces. So right here, if I clicked on any of these faces and then clicked and pulled, it kind of does the same thing as the push-pull tool, but I can really mess it up, as you can see. Crazy. So what I want you to do is pull a side out at a weird angle and let go, like that. Okay. Interesting. And then look around, look at it, kind of rotate around and look at it. Next, I want you to roll your mouse until just the edge is highlighted. See how it's not a side? It's an edge only. And then I want you to pull that out at a weird angle and let go. See what's going on here. So you can kind of quickly see, you can come up some pretty interesting shapes. And then next, I want you to grab a corner. Now this is a little trickier. It's not a side, it's not a line, it's just the dot. See that? Nothing else is blue, just right there. And I want you to click and pull or push, do anything you want with it. Don't make it interfere with one of the other shapes, just in its own space. Okay, whoa. Okay, so that's what I did with my push-pull of a side, of a line, and of a point. So could that be powerful and useful? Yes, I think it could be. SketchUp is used most often in architecture, so buildings, sheds, houses, things like that, just because it's good at it. All right, so we have a weird shape. We have a small square that's 3 by 3 by 3. We have a column. All right. Find the scale tool. Scale tool. So it looks like that. It's like 2 squares with an arrow going at an angle. So if you click, I can now scale something. Well, I have to click it first. So click on the side, one side of your small square. And it's very much like a paint program where it gives you like dots around it, which then allows you to drag and make it bigger. So you can drag a middle one, you can drag a corner one. And again, this will be useful for making interesting shapes like pyramids, for example. You can see how mine could be close to a pyramid if I would have gone straight up, right? So that is sort of what we were doing before with the move tool, but this is the scale tool. Weird, right? You can do some weird stuff. All right. But quickly you can learn how you can see how you can also mess up really quickly and easily. So I'd like you to hit Control Z until your small square is back to normal. And I'm going to show you something. I don't want this to be messed up. Let's say we just spent a week designing this square and I really don't want to ruin it. So, but you can see how everything is still a separate piece and it's really easy to mess with it. So what I want to do is use the select tool, the arrow. I want you to draw a box around that 3-foot square and let go. Everything is selected now. as part of that shape, and then right click and make group, right click, make group. Okay, what that does is it locks it. Now go back to the scale tool and see what you can do. So now what it does is it puts dots around the entire thing. And so you can grab a corner dot and it just makes it bigger, the whole thing bigger or smaller. Okay, so if you want to keep it the right shape, the same proportions, you always grab a corner dot. If you don't care, you can grab a middle dot. The middle dot will like pull it, scale it differently. For example, the middle one here, it's going to pull it out like that. So it's no longer a square anymore. It did scale it. Scale just means get bigger, get smaller. I'm going to go back to where it's just a normal square. And most of the time you're going to use a corner dot to make something bigger. So if you had something that was just massive and it's the wrong size, you would want to scale it down until it's the correct size. If this was a, let's say this was a table for Ty, I could scale it to be the right size, or a little refrigerator or whatever it is. If it's a refrigerator, I'd probably scale it up like this. See how that quickly I can make it the right size for a refrigerator. And that's the scale tool. All right, lastly, the paint bucket. So find the paint bucket, click it. What it does, it brings up all the colors and textures on the right side in the materials option tool here. And by the way, all these tools on the right side, you can open them up individually. Let's not do that one right now. But if you want to close them, click this double arrow to close them down. Also, if it gets too much, like when I click on the paint bucket and it brings up all these materials, you'll see that eventually you could have 100 different colors, and it's just too much. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So don't go to this one. This is the 3D warehouse. We want to go to this one, which is search. So what it defaults to, what it opens with all the colors that are in this. This must be what's the only colors on the screen are him. So these are all the colors in his clothing. The same red as the dinosaur, the same crimson as the dinosaur. Yellow is right there on the dinosaur. Brown is his boots. Light brown is his beard. So interesting, right? The peach color here is his skin. So that's good to know, because if you're opening something that's already painted, you already know what the colors are. But we want to search. So this one, it's like a square with a magnifying glass to search. So it brings up all the categories: 3D printing colors, asphalt and concrete, brick, cladding, siding. There's some cool stuff in here. Carpet, fabric, leather, textiles, wallpaper. Colors, here's just colors, like dozens of just colors. Under colors, glass and mirrors, landscaping, fencing, vegetation, okay, etc. There's a lot. Okay, and my point was, you see how these are so overwhelming? There's so much open. You can click on this little, it's called a caret, which is a little point symbol. Not sure why it's called a caret. Maybe it looks like a carrot poking out of the ground. But if you click it, it closes all the colors. Click this one, closes the glass and mirrors. Click this one. So just to kind of keep things manageable, otherwise it can kind of drive you crazy. All right, so your assignment is to, oh, by the way, let's put I would like this, so before you start painting, oh, let's see, there we go, yeah. So your assignment is to have a column, any size, about twice as high as tall as the guy. Some kind of weird shape that was a square that was 6 by 6 by 6 that we pulled out. Let's leave it that way. And then this one, I want you to keep 3 by 3 by 3. If you messed up, you could start again with the line tool or the rectangle tool now that you know how to use it. Or you can just hit Control Z until you get back until it's a 3 by 3 by 3 square. And then the thing you're going to turn in is this. You're going to choose, we're going to paint every side of everything we have a different pattern, a different color, everything. There's glass right there. Don't forget the bottom. So a lot of times I'll do the bottom first because I'll forget the bottom. So it's a different thing on every side. I already did that one. So just be picking something different. And don't forget to choose different categories. So here's asphalt, like road. That's like pavement. Okay. What else do I have? I've got just the colors. I've got carpet. All right. So it looks like, I've got the roof up here. So what I need you to do is paint every side. That's cool. Every side a different color or texture. There's one on the back I didn't do. Okay, do I have everything? And then double check. Double check. And then you're going to take a zoom in so I can see, especially that your square is 3 by 3 by 3. I'm looking for those dimension lines. I want to see everything on your screen as zoomed in as possible. And let me give you a secret how to do that. There's a tool. I want you to find the tool called Zoom Extents. I call it the Find My Stuff tool. It's the magnifying glass with 3 red arrows. If I zoom out or I get lost, let's say I lose my stuff. I click Zoom Extents and it finds it for me again. And it also zooms in as close as it can while seeing everything on the screen. So that's a great screenshot. So take a screenshot right here, and then you will then go into your Gmail and then send me an email, right? brian.johns@boiseschools.org. And then you will just put your mouse in the email section and hit Control V. It'll paste your screenshot of this into the email and send it to me. Bing, bing, and you're done. So thanks for joining me for this first episode, and we will carry on next time around. I'll catch you then. For now, though, Mr. Johns is out.